Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So as you can tell by the title of this video, this is going to be a how to prepare for baby on a budget, tips and tricks I guess. I thought I would film this video vlog style and like kind of informally because I kind of wanted to walk you around my house and show you what we are doing to prepare for this baby and kind of tell you like my tips and tricks for saving money when you are having a new baby, because I know a lot of people think if you hear any noise it's because my 2-year-old is here coloring. I know a lot of people think of preparing for a newborn baby as like this super huge, like crazy expensive, you need everything in the book, baby gear, nursery, everything. So this is my third child, like I made him myself. This is our third child, third boy. I have a 4-year-old and I have a 2-year-old. So I have been there and done that. Obviously I have my own opinions on this stuff. You might not agree with me. I'm not making this video to offend anyone. I'm really just making this video for people who need tips on saving money when you're preparing for your baby. Because I remember being a first-time mom, even a second-time mom, kind of worrying about how I'm gonna afford and prepare for a new baby, because there's a lot of hype out there. Like people are hyping up babies. Anyway, there's like a lot of stigmas out there where people make you feel like you have to have like this perfect nursery with a swing and a crib and a dresser and a changing table and a diaper pail and a wipes warmer and you know everything. And when you're a first-time mom, sometimes you feel like I can't afford all of that stuff. You may feel like you're overwhelmed or you don't know where to start. When I was, like I said, a first-time mom, we were living in a 1-bedroom apartment. We were on a very tight budget. Same with our second, we were on a very tight budget. We are always on a very tight budget. My husband works very, very hard to be able to work and have me stay home, and always has. I did work in between like my first and my second. I did work full-time, but we did make a lot of sacrifices budget-wise to save money. And this is one of the areas that we saved a lot of money. So I am 35 weeks pregnant with my third, like I said. We are preparing for this baby just about the same way that we prepared for our last two, except it's a little bit different obviously because we have some stuff that's left over. Just wanted to kind of like let you guys know how I prepared for my first baby, because I know baby stuff can be expensive and you feel like you need a lot of stuff, but I'm here to tell you, you don't need that much stuff. Newborn babies do not need that much stuff. I'm gonna go down kind of a list, kind of give you guys like a little bit of a rundown on how I'm preparing for this baby. I've already made a video on kind of what we're reusing. I will link that video in the iCards or in the description down below. It's like it's a slight haul, just clothing. One thing I do when preparing for having a new baby is make sure that when I'm buying baby clothes, I'm being #1 practical about what I'm buying. So this baby is gonna be born in the fall. We live in Las Vegas. It's generally hot, but then it gets really cold in the winter, and it's kind of like a night and day thing. Like today it'll be 80 degrees and tomorrow it'll be 20. I'm exaggerating. Buy things that are appropriate for the weather. We are reusing some clothing, but we did get rid, unfortunately, we got rid of a lot of my baby, like newborn, 0 to 3 and 6-month clothing I had already sold last year because we were not sure about having a third child. So with my second, I reused everything. I reused all of the clothes that I had for my first, and that was a godsend. I had to buy some clothing items because, you know, you're not having your kids necessarily at the exact same time. I had my first in November and I had my second in January. So the seasons were a little off. We were living in California, so generally California weather, LA weather is like 70 year round. With this baby, I had to buy, unfortunately, all of the clothing part of getting ready for baby, but everything else I basically either am recycling, reusing, or kind of jimmy rigging to work for me. And as far as baby clothes go, like I said, be practical about what you're going to use. Newborns especially, poop, puke. I make sure I have a lot of onesies, obviously a newborn 0 to 3 and 3 to 6 month. And then I make sure that I have zip up sleepers. A zip up is just my preferred method of having my kids like in like little jammies or whatever. My main goal when I was out shopping for clothes, only bought stuff that was either on sale or from like Ross. And anywhere I saw like baby items on sale, Usually they were out of season stuff, so in the summer I bought winter clothes and it was way cheaper. I also like sleep sacks for newborns, but I do not like paying for sleep sacks. Like the brand name sleep sacks with like the zipper or whatever. Those are really expensive. I like to also check out eBay. eBay has a lot of secondhand items for way cheaper. I also like to sell my baby clothes on eBay like when I'm done with them. I like to also buy things on eBay because a lot of the time it's almost like the equivalent of going to a yard sale, the prices, and you don't have to pay full price. And trust me, you don't need to pay full price for brand new baby stuff 90% of the time. So I'm in my room right now. I realized that people might not understand what I'm saying when I say sleep sacks. I think I got this at Kohl's. I have a bunch of coupons and a credit card at Kohl's, so I tend to go to Kohl's. Sometimes their prices are not the best though. So this is a sleep sack. Obviously you have to change them in the middle of the night. I am a breastfeeding mama. Now I do not judge you if you are a formula feeding mama, more power to you. I will give you some tips and tricks as well. But because I breastfeed, I don't have to worry about getting up. We co-sleep. So baby is gonna be sleeping in this. This is the rock and play sleeper. I'll have him sleeping here. This is our master bedroom. So I'll have him sleeping here for most of the time, but most of the time also he might be in the bed with us. That's just how we do with our baby. So I did get a couple of these only because they were on sale. Like I said, if they were not on sale, I would not have purchased them because they're expensive. They have the ones that are kind of fleece. They're more like a blanket, but these do just as well. Unless you're somewhere where it's really, really, really cold and you don't have a heater, then you're gonna be bundling up your baby. We don't really worry about bundling baby up for sleeping. And then like I said, I got receiving blankets. These are just from Target. They were on sale. I got them for like, I think it was like $4 something for 4 of them. So it was like $1 each. I use receiving blankets for burp cloths and for swaddling. You could go back and look in my baby haul for like all of the clothing stuff I got. And I think I say prices in there. I got most of the stuff at Ross. That is like my favorite store. They have the best deals on maternity clothes and on baby clothes. So with my first, we decided because of the size of our room, we were going to get a mini crib. I've never purchased a full-size crib. Full-size cribs can cost $250 up to $1,000 depending on what you're buying. We still have the mini crib, which is basically the size of a pack and play. The mattress part of it is the size of a pack and play. Like I said, we were in a 1-bedroom apartment. We still did not purchase a crib with my last baby, and I am not purchasing a crib with this baby. I don't think it's necessary, at least for us. If you are on a budget and you do want to have your baby sleeping in a crib, you can find cribs on Craigslist at yard sales. With my first, I bought a lot of stuff at yard sale. I can't even tell you how many clothes I got for super, super cheap that would have been so expensive if I would have bought them new. The mini crib I think cost us $150, which was ridiculously expensive for us at the time because we could not afford anything. We still have that crib. My first son slept in his little crib about as much as my kids ended up sleeping in this thing. It's just not practical to buy a full-size crib, and the mini crib does what it is supposed to do for us. This baby, I don't even honestly know if I'm gonna take out the crib from the garage because we don't have room in my room anymore. So let me just kind of give you like a little mini tour of my really messy, dirty room. Please don't judge me. This is our master bedroom. So we have the crate for the dog. We have our king size bed. We got a king size bed because like I said, we're co-sleepers. Not really by choice, we just ended up that way. Oh, and then I bought this desk that I don't really even use anymore. I might be getting rid of it. But this room is not huge. Like I said, desk here, dog crate here. Our dog sleeps in there, so we can't get rid of that. We have a king size bed, and then I'm gonna have the baby sleeping in this thing. This is my side of the bed. That's where he's gonna go. You don't necessarily need a crib. You will eventually if you do not co-sleep. Obviously, you're gonna need somewhere for your kid to sleep. So like I said, the mini crib is a great option. And then another way that I save money on baby, while I'm pregnant, I like to shop for the baby, like throughout the entire pregnancy. So from the beginning of this pregnancy, I have been buying diapers. And I have a preference because I have 2 other kids, so I know what I like diaper-wise. I commend you if you cloth diaper, but I just cannot do it. I personally prefer Pampers, Swaddlers, diapers for the first 2 sizes, so newborn and size 1. They're not completely necessary. I only bought them if they were on sale. So if there was like at Target, sometimes they have, if you buy 2 big packs of diapers, you get a $15 gift card. I did that multiple times with this pregnancy because I have an older son who is still in diapers. I needed to buy baby diapers for this baby. Pampers Swaddlers. These are the big ones. This is size 1. I did buy a very small pack of newborn. After the first 2 sizes, I go to Up and Up diapers. We have used Up and Up diapers for both of my kids. I've never had any problems with them. They're comparable to Huggies. Now that they changed the way that they made them, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about them with this baby because they changed them to be more like Pampers almost. I know way too much about diapers because of my kids. Like I said, we've always used generic brand diapers and that is perfectly fine and it works for our kids. If your kids have sensitive skin, my kids definitely had sensitive skin. They had no reaction, no problem with Up and Up diapers. So that was one way and is one way that we will be saving money with this baby. There's always sales at Target on their diapers. From the Cartwheel app, you can get 5 to 10% off half the time. Also, another thing that I did, I made sure that I got a Target debit card because they give you the 5% off your entire purchase, and that definitely adds up if you go to Target as much as I do. So that covers baby sleeping, baby clothes. I still have a boppy from my first pregnancy. I bought the original boppy with no cover on it, and I bought a cover online for way cheaper than they were selling them at Target. Sometimes those boppy covers cost like $25 by themselves. I'm gonna be talking about breastfeeding. If you formula feed your child, there are some ways of getting cheap or free formula. I know at my doctor's office very often they have formula samples. They have full-on full-size samples. So if I was formula feeding, every time I went to my doctor's office, I would have been grabbing a can of the formula because they have a ton, at least at my doctor. I know I've seen some moms that say you can sign up for, like say Infamil and Similac, I think you can sign up and they will send you free samples or send you free formula or send you coupons. I have no judgment against formula feeding moms. However you get your baby fed, a fed baby is the right way. As far as formula, those are the only really tips that I have. But as far as breastfeeding goes, I have a boppy. Boppy was a godsend with my first and my second, so I definitely recommend it if you cannot get a boppy and you have a pregnancy pillow. This is just the Snuggle Mini. This thing works exactly like a boppy. You wrap it around your stomach, it does the exact same thing. I did not have a pregnancy pillow with my first 2 because I was way too cheap, but this pregnancy I've had horrible pelvic and pubic pain, and that was the only way I could sleep. And it doubles as a breastfeeding pillow, so that is one way to save money. So I was a stay-at-home mom with my first, then I became a working mom, and I had to pump because breastfeeding was the way that we chose to feed our baby. Like I said, we did supplement a little bit with formula with my first, but as far as saving money on breastfeeding, because I know people think that if you are breastfeeding, you need to go out and buy a $250 electric pump. You do not. I worked full-time when my son was 7-8 months old, and he was still almost fully breastfed, and I gave him pumped milk as much as possible instead of formula. Number 1, because it's good for him. Number 2, to save money because we did not have money to be buying $50 cans of formula. So what I was doing, instead of buying an electric pump, I have never used an electric pump. I breastfed both of my children. I will breastfeed this one. I used the Medela hand pump. It worked perfectly fine for me. It took about the same amount of time, I would assume, but it is not as difficult as people make it out to be. People make it out to be like you need to be hooked up both boobs to pump so that it could be faster or better or more efficient. Not true. You do not need to be doing both breasts at the same time. I did one at a time, and it took me about 15 minutes, 25 tops, to do both breasts. A manual pump cost about $30, and the electric pumps, like I said, upwards of $250. There is another way that you can get a pump for cheap or free through your health insurance. I think now, because of the Affordable Care Act, that the pumps are covered. It was not covered when I was breastfeeding my first child, but I did hear from some moms that they got breast pumps from their insurance. So if you're able to do that, obviously go ahead and do that. But for me, the simplicity of the manual pump, I feel like I would be so confused if I used an electric pump now because I'm so used to manually pumping. When you're a stay-at-home mom, you don't really need to pump very much, but in the first kind of couple of weeks of breastfeeding, you do need to pump. Sometimes you feel engorged, the baby isn't eating all the way, or sometimes if you have an overactive letdown, you want to pump first before you breastfeed them. A pump is definitely a breastfeeding necessity, but you do not need to buy an expensive one. I still have my manual pump from my last child. Another way of saving money, you do not need expensive bottles. The bottles we used with all of my children were Gerber bottles. I think I still have a pack of them. Let me go check. Yep, I totally have still some unopened Gerber bottles. These bottles come in 3 packs at Target and they cost $3. So obviously if you're using them for a newborn who has colic, probably gonna be tempted to buy the Mr. Browns, the Tommy Tippy, blah, blah, blah. These bottles worked perfectly fine. I have bought the Dr. Brown's bottles with my first because we were desperate with his colic. Honestly, I don't think I even noticed a difference between these and the Dr. Brown ones. So if you are really genuinely on a budget, you cannot afford it, these work exactly the same and they are perfectly fine. Now, if you have a baby who is difficult, has a difficult time going from breast to bottle, obviously you're probably gonna end up spending a little bit more money trying to figure out what bottle is good for them. I'm going to be introducing a bottle probably within the first month of this baby's life, just because my second had a really hard time with bottles in general and just wanted boobies for everything. He was a boobie addict. And these bottles actually screw on to the bottom of the Medela hand pump that I have, and you can store milk even in these with the caps, and that's what I used to do. And as far as baby items, we are reusing the car seat from my last son. It is not expired. We got it a couple of years ago. It doesn't matter what color your car seat is. This is another thing that you could buy on Craigslist, but as long as it's not an expired car seat, you can reuse the car seat. A lot of people don't realize that. Also, if it's the wrong color, say you had a girl and you're having a boy, you can buy online on eBay. They have car seat covers and you can cover up all of the pink or blue or whatever that bothers you, and you could change the way the car seat looks, and you don't have to buy a brand new car seat. We're also going to be reusing our baby swing. I only bought a swing because my second son had horrible colic and I wanted something that would make him stop crying, and I desperately bought a baby swing. I was always sworn that I would never purchase a baby swing because I thought it was a huge waste of money, and it can be, but the one I got is foldable, it is battery powered, and it only cost me $50 maybe, and it worked exactly the same as all of the expensive ones, except it costs probably about half. Another thing we are reusing is a door jumper that I've had with all 3 of my kids that cost me $25, and that was the best investment I've ever made. It is an amazing jumper. And then we also have a little activity jumper center and a baby walker that we've had with all of my kids. And that's just stuff that's not even necessary. If you don't have the money to purchase those things, you can save up money while your baby is growing up. They don't use that stuff until they're 3 to 4 months old. You don't have to buy it before you give birth. And that's just some tips and tricks. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope it's been helpful. Leave me any comments down below with questions that you have for me, and I will definitely be down there talking to you guys and answering questions if you have any. And I hope this has been a helpful video for any first-time moms, or maybe even moms that have been there and done that and didn't want to spend a lot of money to prepare for a baby, because you don't necessarily need an entire room and a beautiful nursery to have a baby. Fortunately, newborns do not need a lot of junk and stuff. They just need basic things: diapers, a place to sleep, some clothes to wear, something to eat. Very simple. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys. The shirt up.